My tenant is complaining about mold. As a landlord, what should I do? I saw this online the other day where someone had posted about their tenant complaining of mold, saying that their whole family and their animals are getting sick. And then the landlord was like, they're moving out in 60 days. What should I do? Now, to me, and with my experience, it's a very obvious answer. But the comments that I saw were horrendous. The advice that was given on the social platform was not good at all. And you wonder why there's a divide between landlords and tenants. It doesn't have to be that way. You can be on the same team. So some of the feedback or some of the advice that was given to this was, this is a low-income complaint. And there was a paragraph that followed on how to basically avoid doing anything. There was another one where just let them move out. They're leaving in 60 days. Just delay until 60 days is up, then they're done. There was other people that just said, get them out of their lease. Just tell them to move on. If they agree, they could do that, but that's not the best solution, I don't think. There were other ones that basically said, get the test done, but then hold it for your records. Don't do anything. Don't show the tenant, and just make sure that you've done your due diligence to get the test. There was other advice on the chain that didn't really make sense. What I typically would do, and we have this in the lease, is if a resident is complaining of mold, then we respond immediately and say, we're so sorry to hear that. We're sorry that there's issues. We want to be sure that you are living in a safe environment. We're going to set up this professional test immediately. As soon as we can get someone out there to test it within today or tomorrow, we're going to have it done. It's going to be done professional in a professional lab, and then we'll get the results. Once we get the results, if there is a mold issue that we need to be concerned about, we will remediate it as fast as we possibly can. And we're going to do whatever we need to do to take care of that tenant and make sure they have a good experience during that process. We're going to follow the Virginia law, et cetera, et cetera. Now, if the test comes back as negative, or there's no dangerous levels of mold or anything like that, and things are okay, and maybe it's a cleanliness issue or it's something else, but there's no levels of mold, there's no remediation needed, then the tenant will be responsible for the cost of the test. And we explain this to the tenant up front. In many cases, the tenant's like, thank you, absolutely, makes sense. Please come have it tested. In some cases, they're like, no, I don't want to have it tested. This is blah, blah, this is, we don't agree with that. And usually we find there's not really a mold issue. There's something else that they're unhappy with. Now, the ones that want to get it tested, great, we get it tested. If there is mold, you got to take care of it. You're a landlord. You've made an investment. And when you've made an investment in rental property, it doesn't mean it's the tenant's fault for running up the bill. There needs to be maintenance. You don't want there to be deferred maintenance of property. It needs to be taken care of. The tenant may be taking great care of it. And maybe there's a roof issue or a plumbing issue or something like that. That is your responsibility as a landlord. Now, whether you determine the cause of the mold was the fault of the tenant or not, that just depends on the issue. But the thing is you don't delay a mold test. You don't just tell the tenant they need to leave. You don't just assume they're complaining. Regardless of their history, that's not going to hold up in court very well. I would say get the test done immediately. Put in writing that you care about their health and safety and you want this done as soon as possible, and you are 100% on their side and you're empathetic to their situation and you want to take care of them. It happens that this complaint, there is no mold issue and there's nothing to remediate. It's going to be the tenant's cost or the tenant's responsibility to cover that cost. And that's all right. That's fine. It's fair for all parties. So the landlord's looking out for the tenant's looking out for the landlord. We're good to go. Get the test done, remediate if we need to, or add it to the tenant ledger if we need to. And that opens up the conversation to better cleanliness, better ventilation systems, things like that. So I would not just ignore mold or chalk it up as a complaint or try to delay it until the tenant moves out. That's a serious situation. Ask yourself if you would put your family and your own pets in that situation. We got to provide a better experience for our residents, and we got to find a way to do it to where we're on the same team. So don't ignore mold complaints, follow Virginia state law, and be responsive, communicate well, look out for your team.